Eh, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming. In this occasion is international guest lecture in the topic of plantation crops mechanization. Today's lecture will be speak by Associate Professor Dr. Nazmi Matnawi. He is a faculty member in the Faculty of Engineering, Department of Biological and Agricultural Engineering, University Putra, Malaysia. And maybe if you attend 2 weeks ago, you are familiar with him. But today, Professor Dr. Nazmi will give us lectures about palm oil plantation. The topic itself is the mechanization technologies for sustainable oil palm plantation. This is also the part of the mechanization of plantation crops courses, so mandatory for students. Without further ado, let welcoming the Dr. Nazmi to speak for us. Dr. Nazmi, time is yours.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much, Pak Ubay. Kalau di sana kita panggil Encik Ubaidillah. Okay, thanks for your welcoming speech, and I think all of you are familiar with me, right? But today, I don't think we can make a joke. It is recorded. Kan, kalau dalam kelas kita bisa ketawa, dalam dewan saya takut nanti Pak Ubay report. Okay. By the way, so English ke bahasa Indonesia? It's okay, eh? Okay. Jawa. Arabic lah, Arabic. Sorry, Baik. So, if you have been following my lectures in the past 2 weeks, we have discussed the fundamental. Okay. If you remember, in the first week, ini boleh soal jawab ya? We go by Ahmad again. Okay, so never mind. We got 2 hours. Then towards the end, we got a lot of time. So this week, I asked, I think second group, okay, now 3 of the groups are here, right? We got one group, Ifa, led by Ifa. Where is Ifa? Why you sit at the back? Leader must be in the front. Move forward. Okay. Second group, Rifki. Where is Rifki? You have to be in the front then. And then the third group, I think Diana. Where is Diana? Okay. You see the group leader do not want to expose themselves. Okay. So, ini masih introduction, belum masuk lagi ya. Okay. So, on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, I asked, what is the difference? Apa beda antara group U, group B, group E? Which group is better than another group? Group B is the best. Okay. B for best, huh? So U for unggul. Okay. So today, we will prove which group is better. Okay, I'm going to ask interactive the same way like we did in the class. So group yang tak dapat jawab dia kalah. Okay. Okay tak Pak Ubay? This is kind of competition. Siapa menang nanti dapat lunch box. Okay. So basically, the first week, we talk about performance, right? It's a fundamental. when you have a machine, the purpose of replacing machine is to get a better performance at a lower cost in terms of operation and also safety. Okay? And then the second week, we talk about mechanics of the tractor. So I think you all dah hafal, kan? Mekanisasi mesti ada 3 komponen. Prime mover, implement, field operation. So if I ask what is the purpose of implement, you should be able to answer. Okay? So Pak Ubai, I will be the one who prepared their final exam, right?
Yeah.
You see? It will be very tough. UPM standard. Okay? Okay, take the challenge. Bye. So I know that oil palm is main crop in Malaysia, and then my research focus on oil palm, but in Indonesia, not all of you are familiar ataupun have an access to oil palm, right? Because dalam kelas, when I ask, they haven't seen oil palm. Oil palm ada di jalan-jalannya. Okay, so never mind. But the principle here, okay, the machinery principle is the same. It's applicable to any crops. Okay, so you look at how we adopt the technology. Di sana ya. Press yang mana? Okay, so listen carefully. Ini pun is a part of kuliah. Maknanya towards the end ada group assignment. Ada group assignment, then along the way I will keep asking. Siapa-siapa mengantuk, they will be my target. I can see you from here clearly. Okay, again, this is just a repetition, ulangan. Kita dah bincang dalam minggu pertama why we have to appreciate agriculture. Kita dah bincang 4F. You still remember? Kita dah bincang profit. What is the purpose of profit? Kita dah bincang precision farming. Nanti you boleh teka sama Pak Ubat. You boleh tanya Pak Ubat. Boleh soal dia. Okay. And then we have to be proud because we will be agricultural engineers who will look after crop production. Kenapa? Because pertanian, I repeat again, is a sumber pekerjaan. It's a source of job. Okay? So you are in the good way, good line to get a job. Okay? You go anywhere, any countries, there are no country in the world that do not do farming. Dia mesti buat ada pertanian. Okay, this is fact and figures. That's why I only have slide for oil palm, because if you go to my country, my university, the main focus is only oil palm dengan padi, rice. We don't have sugar cane. We don't have coffee. We don't have for large scale. But we have oil palm as a commodity crop, rice as a grain crop. Then we have rubber, karet, getah. We have cocoa, black pepper, pineapple, and etc. But the main commodity crop yang menyumbang kepada ekonomi negara is oil palm. So this is the fact and figures about that. So as a strategy, you all sekarang tahun 3, right? Tahun 4. Year 3, So in 2 years' time, you are going to get a job. So from now on, mulai dari sekarang, you all kena invest some time to know what is the main crop yang ada peluang pekerjaan di sini. Katakan di Malang ini, the main industry is about sugarcane. So this is your time. When you choose your FYP, do something. related to sugarcane. When you do your industrial training, do something related to sugarcane. That will give you more chance to be employed. Am I right? So my case, when I was a student, I did my practical training. Di sini dipanggil industry attachment kan. In oil palm industry, I spent 10 weeks, 2 months in the oil palm industry doing practical training. And then after graduate, I got my first job as mill engineers. Because during interview, they ask, do you know about oil palm? Everything, right? So if you like to work in sugarcane, you have to study what is sugarcane. That is a tips for today. Okay. So this is fact and figures is sort of 5 years back. But still okay, still okay. It doesn't change much. So in Malaysia, palm oil is kita panggil golden crop, tanaman emas, tanaman important. Because from oil palm, it has generated the economy and then provide employment to many people. And then so far, Malaysia is leading producers of palm oil. Jangan confuse, don't be confused antara oil palm dengan palm oil. Okay, kalau oil palm, apa beza oil palm dengan palm oil yang menguap tu? What's your name? I can walk through ya. Freedom. So like classroom there. Apa beza oil palm dengan palm oil? Mana yang menguap tadi? Nobody. Semua sudah bangun. Okay. What is oil palm and palm oil? Oil palm merujuk kepada pokok, tree. Okay. If you talk about palm oil, it's about minyak. It's about oil, cooking oil. So don't be confused. Bila in this statement say Malaysia is the world leading producers of palm oil, meaning that we produce the most. Tapi dari segi ladang, dari segi penghasilan, Indonesia is the biggest. Tapi local consumption, penggunaan di setempat tinggi. So not much Indonesia boleh ekspor. Malaysia dia penggunaan domestik tak tinggi, so we export. Okay. So in terms of producing, Malaysia is second. Then we produce crude palm oil, 19.86 million metric ton a year. Million metric ton. While Indonesia leading palm oil export country dengan punya ekspor dalam 10 million ton lebih berbanding Malaysia. You are richer than us. That's why I come here to work here. Kan? More job opportunity here. Okay. So 5.9 million of headland used for palm implantation. But now the government has capped. Sudah letak limit. They say no more. No more new area for oil palm. Kita kena apa? Diversify. Because oil palm ni dia up and down. Ada masa dia mahal, ada masa dia murah harganya. So we have to diversify. We go for another crop as well. Pineapple, rubber, and etc. Okay. So manpower in this industry is about 500,000 people, including engineers, including CEO, including workers. So I was a part of them before. Tapi I quit the job because living in the estate. You know estate? Dia panggil apa di sini? Ladang sawit tu we call estate. Di sini dia panggil apa? Ya? Kebun. Kebun pun kebun lah. So not much fun to live in kebun, right? No internet connectivity. Nak call parents pun kena panjat pokok. So it's not fun, not much fun. So I quit. I joined university. Okay. So this is fact and figures about it. The FFB is about 17 metric ton per hectare. Again, in the first class, I mentioned to you about yield. Okay. Dia punya basis untuk yield ialah tonnage per hectare. Kan ingat tak yang kita bincang crop density? Kan berapa pokok boleh ditanam 1 hektar, 1 ekar. And then how much yield can be harvested from that. Okay, kalau rice, I mentioned to you is about 5. The in ideal condition can be 7. 7 ton per hektar. Okay. Okay, ini pun fact and figures. You have the slide, nothing much to say. Okay. Now, in any plantation crop, because it's a big area, it's involved big area, the issue is workers. In most of the country, including Japan, Europe, US, Australia, okay? But I'm not sure about Indonesia. As I told you in the first class, yang Pak Dwi bagi tahu, di sini kita nak lebih kepada job security. Okay? Kenapa saya tanya Pak Dwi Setiawan, kenapa kita tak invest machine di sini? Because they still want to preserve job security for local. Kalau you bawa masuk mesin, local dah tak ada kerja. What are you going to do? So there is a balance in terms of that. But in a country yang berlaku development ataupun penduduknya berkurang, this is the problem. Labor shortage. Apa masalah? Bila tidak ada pekerja, buah yang telah matang di kebun tidak dituai, tidak diambil. So what happen? Dia jadi loss, kehilangan hasil, yield loss. Okay. Okay, you have seen this dalam slide in the first week of our discussion, but again I want to highlight. You baca semua tu boleh, but I want to talk about poin yang warna merah tu. Jadi kita dah highlight. Kalau sekarang ni ratio satu pekerja perlu menjaga 8 hektar. Okay? Kalau you as a company you have 16 hektar, maknanya you perlukan 2 pekerja. That is current punya ratio. But the company is trying to reduce that because labor susah nak masuk. Kan lebih-lebih lagi selepas COVID. So they are aiming dengan menggunakan mekanisasi, jentera, machine. We discuss about that. Either prime mover ataupun implement. They are going to reduce that. So by 2030, satu pekerja, one labor to look after 15 hektar. Maknanya in terms of productivity double up. Kan satu pekerja dia perlu bekerja 2 kali ganda. In terms of cost, company akan kurangkan half of the cost, labor cost, to look after the area. Okay, and that is the point of mechanization. So dalam apa ni sawit, pointernya yang mana? Yang pointer. Untuk nak tunjuk di okay. Jadi as we discussed before, dalam kelapa sawit ni yang paling kritikal ialah harvesting, mechanization tools or gadget for harvesting. Yang ni yang kita belum ada. Cuma recently Pak Ubat share dengan saya di APB, di Bogor. They have developed a trailer, lori. Untuk di atas tu ada macam crane, crane yang boleh dia dinaikkan, lifted, dan ada operator dekat situ, dia boleh potong. So FFB masuk dalam dia punya cage. So that is sort of a technology yang yet to be seen, boleh di-commercialize atau tidak. Okay. So there are many issues. So kenapa the local have shunned the industry? Kenapa orang muda ataupun I believe you all pun tak nak kerja kebun kan? You nak kerja kebun? Tak nak. So why you take this program? What are you going to be? Corporate. Wrong discipline then. She's going to be a corporate. Okay, by the way, you may become a corporate in industrial punya sector. Possible lah, because I tell you what, di Malaysia pun, if we start as engineers, kan, dalam pekerjaan tu dia ada promotion. Okay, if we started as engineers for 5 years, after that, kita akan naik sebagai senior engineers, naik chief engineers. Then towards the end, we will be on management. Kita akan jadi manager, naik. Mungkin CEO of engineering division. So you are in the right dream. Mimpi yang betul lah. Okay. So we go further. The reason why not many youth, orang muda untuk terlibat dengan pertanian, kerana dikatakan is dirty. You get sweat, berpeluh, difficult, susah, capek, penat, and dangerous. Okay. So again, you have seen this slide. So how to overcome that issues? So ideally from engineering perspective. We are engineering perspective, because if you talk about social perspective, lain. Kan kalau you dengar dosen daripada social science, they may say, why not we build housing in kebun? Why not we build a school in kebun? That is not our concern. That is possible, but it's not engineering solution, right? Itu pun bagus bila kita buat housing area in estate, so people stay there, so they are okay to work in that compound, kan? Kalau kebun tu sudah dimajukan. So there are 3 categories. So today we are going to talk about mechanization. There are 2 more topics, automation and digitalization. Yang ni saya bincang next year, if I come again. If you are still here, I come again, we talk about that topic. Okay? Okay, ini pun kita dah bincang dalam kelas. We can skip this one, right? So this, you see this how? We call it progressive. How changes happen. I have shown you in the class bagaimana seekor kebau, buffalo, is working. Kan dulu dia guna trailer, guna buffalo as a prime mover. Ini is a source of energy. Yang trailer tu is dia punya implement. Kan kita belajar teori. And then how this labor, dia gunakan stick. Stick tu is a tools, implement. Then how he use his energy to lift this FFB 30 kilogram. Average. It can go up to 50 kilogram. You pernah angkat bag beras tak? A bag of rice 25 kilogram kan? Have you ever angkat, dipanggil apa, kampit, bag of, pernah angkat? What is the maximum weight you can lift? Berapa berat, item yang you pernah angkat? 20. So belum boleh kerja kelapa sawit. Kelapa sawit minimum 30. And then it is what? Repetitive. Kan angkat letak. You may get shoulder pain, back pain. So you see, the development of the technology now, because there is a need, ada keperluan, maka kita telah modernizekan sistem ni menggunakan mechanization where the trailer is still the same, tapi this trailer now is pulled by a tractor, manakala ini trailer pulled by buffalo, and then this human labor is now replaced with crane, grabber. This is engineering. Kita simulate, kita tiru perlakuan manusia, dia grab, angkat, pusing, masuk dalam trailer. So you can think, kalau one day you are going to work in sugarcane, kan? You look at in sugarcane, what are the operation yang critical, yang perlu di mechanizekan. So this is where you think, you use all the knowledge you have. Okay, advantage pun kita dah bincang, dah banyak kali bincang. I will skip this one. So contoh timeliness pun dah bagi dalam kelas dan etc. Okay, disadvantage pun dah cerita. Okay, saya nak ulang balik ni. Kenapa berlaku yang ni, traktor ni? Yang ingat tak masa first week saya tanya, you tak boleh jawab sebab belum bincang mechanics of tractor. But this week kita dah bincang mechanic of tractor. So you should have the answer for that. So saya nak tanya randomly, group B Group B ketuanya siapa? Dayana lah, tolong jawab. What was the reason for the first photo? Okay, Dayana, show that B group is the best. Apa? What was the reason for this photo? Kenapa traktor ni sinkage? Apa? Engineering. Use engineering. Talk engineering like. Bukan cakap bahasa pasar. Explain in engineering terms. Nanti boleh berduetnya. Karaoke. Okay.
Job skill, driver skill.
Okay, one of them. That is the first reason. Now we talk about the mechanics. What is a failure with the mechanics there?
Underpower.
Oh, siapa nak bantu? Group B boleh bantu. Ahli group B. Itu bukan group B. Okay, bantu. Pak Ubaid, they are still shy. Pak Ubaid, they have no confidence yet. Okay, you have to be extrovert to be engineers. You know, you kena berani, brave. Cakap bahasa Indonesia pun tak apa, saya faham. Saya sudah sebulan di sini. Bisa ngomong. Okay, apa jawapannya? Why kita bincang yesterday? Why sinkage happen? Kenapa berlaku bogging ataupun sinkage? Tenggelam, terbenam. Guna mic. Ni recorded ni, masuk TV.
My opinion is the weight of tractor is small. That make shrinkage. Then the power of tractor is maybe overpower or underpower. So the as of tire is break.
Okay, bagi. Grup mana ya? Group E. Okay. Itu bukan Ahmad Dimas ke? Oh, di sini.
Oke,
sila.
bahasa Indonesia ya Pak?
Boleh.
Oke, itu kalau yang dilihat dari gambar yang pertama, operatornya tidak mengetahui mengenai ilmu tanah maupun penggunaan dari traktor itu sendiri gitu. Terus karena di situ tanahnya clay atau bisa dibilang tanah liat, jadi untuk tekanan pokoknya kalau bebannya terlalu berat itu akan tenggelam. Dah, seperti itu. Terima kasih.
So betul lah. So the second answer is correct. So if you look at the mechanics, the reason is that soil, they call it soil bearing capacity, is lower than the force ataupun weight exerted dikenakan oleh tractor. So then how to solve? As what we discussed in the class, you have to increase the contact area. You have to use double tires. You have to use rubber wheel, rubber track, and etc. Okay. So ini dah boleh dapat hadiah tiket ke UPM ni. Apa nama tadi? Ahmad Daniel Zaki. Okay, good. I think you follow my class properly. Okay, we move. Okay, now. Tadi Diana mention one of the reason kenapa traktor tu terbenam is because pemandu, drivernya tidak have enough training, right? He should make decision. Dia sepatutnya fikir, oh jalan ni tak boleh lalu. Is tanah selepas hujan, is clay ataupun kita panggil watery, right? So, dalam penggunaan machinery, there are 5 components you have to consider. It's not as simple as that. Yang ni belum ada dalam kuliah sebelum. This is new note. Yang pertama, we have to talk about farm infrastructure ataupun land preparation. So meaning, kalau kita nak bawa masuk traktor, first kita kena fikir perlukan adanya jalan kebun, maintenance road. That is number 1. Number 2, kita kena ada tempat untuk kita simpan, parkir. Di sini panggil apa? Parkir. Parkir transport. And then we also need a space for turning. And then dari segi infrastructure, traktor dia ada limit. Dia tak boleh climb kalau gradient. Dia panggil gradient, maknanya kecuraman bukit itu more than 45 degree. What happen? They overturn. So that's why you kena come out dengan terrace. That is one thing. So kita katalah one day you become engineers, then your boss said, okay, Ahmad Dimas, we have new area to be cleared. So go and assess. You pergi, bapak pergi tengok sesuai tak untuk kita guna mekanisasi. So you pun pergi, you tengok first dia punya topografi sesuai atau tidak. Kalau terlalu hilly, it still can, but you kena buat terrace. Is it you call it terrace here? Kan bukit kita buat jalan di lerengnya tu. What do you call that? Terrace, Yeah? Teras. Samalah tu. Englishnya terrace. Okay. Yang kedua, ini yang kita bincang this week. Appropriate machinery. Di mana matching antara implement dengan traktor. Penggunaan tayar yang sesuai. Penggunaan load yang sesuai. Penggunaan implement yang sesuai. There are many more factors, ya. Implement, matching, terrace, pit. Kalau tanah pit, you tak boleh guna ban. You kena guna crawler. Because dia bearing capacity-nya rendah. Okay, ini point yang disebut tadi, well-trained people. When you have a machine, you have technology, you need to have a people who can handle that. So, who is the best people to conduct machinery? Mana Ifa? Ifa mana Ifa? Okay, Ifa. Who is the best people to handle machinery? Saya tidak ingat nama ahlinya, membernya. Saya ingat nama ketua aja. Okay, who is the best people to handle machinery? Siapa yang cocok, terbaik untuk mengendalikan jentera di ladang? Who? To manage. You got my questions?
Engineers maybe.
Engineers. That means we, us, we are the best people who are trained, okay, to manage the machinery. That's why you have to know this knowledge, because one day when you are employed by a company, you are the one who make decision. You will be trained and you will train others. Kan, you yang akan buat logbook, template, maintenance, timetable for maintenance, kan. Mungkin pekerja cuma melaksanakan, tapi you as engineers who has to provide. Okay, this tractor must be serviced every 3 months, every 100 hours of operation. This is yours, your job. Okay, next, frequent maintenance, either preventive or corrective. I think you know the difference, right? Preventive means kita tukar komponen sebelum dia breakdown, sebelum dia mogok. Kerana bila dah mogok, dia cause many more losses. Where corrective is tractor itu sudah mogok, baru kita repair. This is not good. We have to do preventive. Okay, and then management with positive mindset. Why? Because when you talk about machinery, it require investment. Kos pembelian yang tinggi. So you must have a good mindset, means you are there untuk invest. You berani untuk buat pelaburan, because in the long term you are going to make better profit. Okay? Okay, ini dah hafal ya? Nak kena tanya lagi ke? What is the component of mechanization? Mesti ada prime mover, mesti ada implement, dan mesti ada targeted field operation. Operasi apa yang kita nak buat. So kalau you tengok di sini, different kind of machine. Ini tractor, but everything is about tractor. Because tractor ni kita panggil universal power unit. Dia boleh provide power to any implement. Kita hitching ataupun unhitching je, kan? So ini sama, picker, this is a trailer, ini tractor, ini kita panggil grabber, sama. Ini pula adalah, what is this? Can anybody guess what is this component? Mesin apa ni? Sprayer, I don't think it's sprayer. Ni bukan sprayer. Teka lagi. Yang sebelah ni sprayer, yang ni bukan sprayer. But also for, we call it chemical application. What is that? Rifki mana? Ada? What is your answer? Fertilizer nama benda yang masuk dalam tangki tu. Operation tu nama apa? What do we call that implement? Ini kalau tak dapat jawab, malu dengan Pak Ubat ni. Dia kata, ni dah hajar ni, ni dah hajar ni. Anybody got answer? Semua tunduk. Okay, what is that? Apa kita panggil tu? Okay, I tell you. Untuk chemical application, dia panggil chemical applicator. Applicator dia ada dua. Satu granular ataupun kita panggil granular lah, ataupun powder but still granular. Yang kedua liquid. Liquid chemical, granular fertilizer ataupun chemical. Untuk liquid kita pakai sprayer. Either boom sprayer, orchard sprayer ataupun knapsack sprayer. Kalau untuk granular non liquid kita kena pakai apa? What do we call that? It's a spreader. Jadi mesin ini namanya spreader. Fertilizer spreader. Dia spread, dia tabur di sekeliling ataupun di sekitar ladang. Remember that. Nanti saya tanya dalam exam. Bezakan dua jenis implement untuk pengaplikasian bahan kimia. So spreader and sprayer. Okay. Now dalam industri sawit, kenapa saya tanya di awal tadi apa beza oil palm dengan palm oil? We as agricultural engineers mostly we invest, kita terlibat dengan oil palm di ladang ataupun kita panggil upstream di lapangan. Okay. Tapi dalam palm oil industry dia ada 3 section. Dia ada upstream, middle stream, downstream. So di peringkat midstream dia dah lebih kepada chemical engineering, milling, processing, refinery. Okay. Dan di peringkat akhir lebih kepada bioprocess. Nak buat margarine, nak buat sabun, nak buat. So that is not our area. That is more on mungkin ibu neneng punya part. Food engineering, chemical engineering. You have to know. So you have to be focused. Your area will be upstream. This is planting. This is where I work. We work, I think. And then midstream, refinery, processing. Ini lebih cocok untuk chemical engineers ataupun mechanical. But even for AE, because I used to work here. I used to work in mill, kilang, kilang sawit. And then downstream lebih kepada food. This is department yang apa tu? Profesor Ibu Neneng saya panggil dia. Ibu Sari. So that is his or her fields. Okay, now we talk about mekanisasi. Kita ada prime mover, ada implement, ada field operation. So for oil palm, this is typical, lazim, kebiasaan field operasi yang terlibat. Yang pertama, road construction. As I said to you before, bila kita dapat satu-satu kawasan, kita kena bina jalannya dulu. Kan? If you don't have a road, how can you access the area? You got it? Kena buat jalan. Kena buat jalan. Lepas tu, we go for land clearing, land preparation, seedling. Sebab oil palm, dia ditanam melalui seedling. Kalau padi ditanam menggunakan apa? Seed, benih kan, ditabur. Pun padi pun boleh seedling. Dia seedling ni maknanya anak pokok. What do you call that here? Apa? Bibit. So means anak pokok lah, planting materials. And then kalau tebu ditanam melalui apa? For sugar cane. How do they replant? Siapa biasa? Siapa membesar di ladang tebu? How do they regrow, replant sugar cane? Ditanam apa? What is that? Ras. Kalau dalam bahasa English dipanggil apa? Grafting. Dipanggil billet. Meaning that billet dia tanam billet yang ada nodes. Kan billet tu dia ada internodes, dia ada ruas, dia ada antara ruas. Kan yang antara ruas tu yang akan keluar pucuk, shoot. That is what you insert in the soil. Okay. So seedling and then crop maintenance. Ini sama. Mana-mana crop, they need to have this weeding, root repair, and then chemical application. Tadi saya dah cerita, chemical application, it can be pesticide, it can be fertilizer, but it can be granular, it can be liquid. If you talk about liquid, you have to use sprayer. If you talk about granular or solid, you go for spreader. Okay. So this is a few photos. Ini cara mereka buat jalan kebun ya. Ini replanting. They use excavator untuk nak tumbangkan, to fell down pokok yang sudah tua. Dia akan buat chopping and then dia akan tanam baru. Why they do the chopping? Sebab kalau dulu dia bakar, fire, dia burn. But now sudah tak boleh di Malaysia. Sebab ni jadi jerebu, haze. Jadi haze, right? Air pollution. So they have to go for more environmental friendly manners. So dia just hancurkan, dia biarkan jadi kompos, jadi baja. Okay? Jadi fertilizer, biofertilizer. Okay, ini mesin untuk tanam seedling. Because you know oil palm, dia ditanam dalam polybag. You know when I say polybag? Dia daripada nursery, dia pindah ke ladang, dia terus masuk dengan polybag. Because polybag tu dia akan degraded, biodegradable. Nanti dia akan hancur. Okay? Then they leave it that way. Cuma benda ni is like an auger. Dia akan drill the soil, masukkan polybag, timbus, leave it. Okay? Okay, next. Okay. This is mechanization status for oil palm in Malaysia. I want you, maybe for your FYP ataupun for your special project, okay, I suggest you try to build this database for any crop that you are interested in. Katalah you suka sugarcane, you like to study sugarcane kan? So you try to build this table for sugarcane. Tengok apa field operation yang terlibat dengan sugarcane and do the study. Then you will find which field operation still need mechanization. Okay, I tell you, kalau dia punya nilai itu sudah 1, maknanya dia dah perfect. It is fully mechanized by a tractor je. So you tengok kalau di oil palm, land preparation fine, because kita boleh guna tractor with this plow ataupun rotavator. Okay. Kalau FFB transportation pun tak ada isu. It's fully mechanized sebab kita ada trailer. Okay. Then you go for mainline transportation, masih tidak sepenuhnya. Mungkin ada part yang masih kena manual. So if we are engineers, we can invest, we can do investigation here. Tapi you tengok yang paling kritikal untuk oil palm ialah harvesting, 0.09, and also pest control. Maknanya apa? More research, more innovation is needed for that part. Meaning that dia belum fully mechanized. So we need brain, we need young brain, young talent like you to think for over that problems. Okay, next. Okay, mechanization in oil palm, dia ada specific objective, ada beberapa lah, ada 4. Yang pertama, to increase palm oil production. Macam mana kita nak reduce losses. Okay, sebab satu pokok, satu kebun, kita boleh tuai 2 kali sebulan. Dia oil palm ni dia bukan harvest every day. If you have 1 hectare of oil palm, so you can go twice a month. Harvest, kemudian kena tunggu yang next fruit untuk matang, untuk masak. Okay, reduce the cost of production. This is by using machinery at the right power, at the right setting. Reduce physical work stress. Ini yang tadilah. Contoh yang you guna stick, now replace with grabber. So, cuba. Mungkin kalau di sugarcane, ataupun somebody said to me, in Malang ada coffee. So, you tengok, you buat field observation. Kalau di coffee tu, what field operation yang critical, yang laborious, yang capek, yang memenatkan, then you fikir apa mesin yang patut ada to assist, kan? So I do not know sugarcane because di Malaysia kita tidak ada ladang. We just have a few small plot yang farmers tanam untuk masuk squeezer tu untuk minum. Apa dia panggil fresh consumption. Tapi we don't have for estate size punya production. Okay. Next, labor shortage. Okay, ni dah cerita tadi. Memang ada berlaku pengurangan. Kemudian you see uncollected loose fruit account for 3 hingga 5 bunch weight. Okay, cerita dia macam ni. Dalam kelapa sawit, we have a bunch. Kita panggil tandan. We call it bunch, right? Pada bunch itu, dia ada banyak buah. We call it fruitlet. Mungkin sampai ribuan fruitlet. Dia dalam dia punya tu. So, bila dia matang, dia jadi loose. Loose fruit dengan soket tu dia loose. You sentuh pun dia dah jatuh. So, bila kita tuai, because of the drop, dia akan, apa dia panggil, tercabut dan jatuh merata. So loose fruit tu dia kena collect. If you see somebody akan pick up the FFB, then akan ada another laborers yang bawa penyapu. You panggil penyapu ke? Rack untuk nak sapu yang loose fruit, masuk dalam dia punya cage, masuk dalam trailer. Because loose fruit juga ada nilai. And then you see on average 28% of total harvesting time is spent on collection of loose fruit. Nanti saya tunjuk apa teknologi yang ada untuk loose fruit, ya. Okay, ini sama point dia. Increase productivity, increase working hours, reduce machine capital cost. Meaning that bila kita nak, katalah we have decided, okay, we need a machine or we need a tractor. But tractor comes with different sizes. Kan ada yang 4-wheel drive, 2-wheel drive, 100 horsepower, 18 horsepower. So you have to calculate which is the best to suit your need. So buy the right machine, okay, based on the requirement. Kemudian kalau machine itu terlalu mahal untuk dibeli, contohnya daripada Europe, so we have to build our own, design. We have to build our own machine. Okay, local, dipanggil local development. Okay, next. Okay, ini contoh, contoh penggunaan for chemical. Dia punya purpose adalah sama ada as a fertilizer, as a pupuk, ataupun as pesticide, sebagai racun untuk to control any pest. Okay, pesticide dia ada banyak jenis. Pesticide, herbicide, rodenticide, fungicide, and many more. Side itu racun. Yang depan tu merujuk pada apa yang you want to kill. Kalau bunuh orang dipanggil apa? Kalau bunuh orang dipanggil apa? Kalau bunuh orang dipanggil apa? Ini soalan cepuk mas. Kalau bunuh tikus, kita panggil rodenticide. Genocide. Dia tak panggil human side. Dia panggil genocide. Okey? Itu istilah dia. Okey. Okey, ini contoh Contoh macam mana the modernization of the crop daripada manual, you see, dulu-dulu pakai wheelbarrow. Wheelbarrow, buka dia punya bag, you see, safety pakai tangan, glove, kan? So belum tua tangan dah ada corak, chemical reaction, ada allergic. Okay, and then this is how they tabur, spread the fertilizer, the same, but now dah ada machine, spreader. How? Only one driver, they put fertilizer in this tank, they just go through, and it can cover big area per day. Okay. Next, and then ini beroda, mana untuk tanah biasa, tanah mineral. Kemudian ada juga oil palm ditanam di kawasan tanah lembut, peat soil ataupun tanah gambut. So dia modernizekan lagi mesin. You tengok mesin ni dah guna crawler, dah guna rubber track. So means that is the function of us, of engineers. You solve technical problem. Okay? Because you know kalau di tanah lembut bearing capacity-nya rendah. So what you have to do, you have to reduce pressure yang dikenakan kepada tanah. So for the same machine, kita dah belajar dalam kelas, kita kena increase contact area. Okay. Okay, ini untuk chemical. Tadi untuk granular, you see this is a boom sprayer. Ini dipanggil orchard sprayer. The same, this is high pressure orchard sprayer. Ini untuk target daun, leaf, untuk ke atas. Contohnya pokok yang tinggi. Kemudian ini pun sama, is a boom sprayer, tapi ada juga nozzle for specific. Contohnya di belakang pokok ada yang pokok-pokok rumpai, so we can pergi guna hose ni. This is also we call it orchard sprayer untuk pesticide. Okay, ini spreader. This is spreader, specific spreader. You see, dia pun attach pada PTO sebab ada gearbox. So how we do? Kita akan lalukan dia in between oil palm trees. So the fertilizer will be spread in about 2 lanes, 2 rows of the crop. Okay, so pergi balik dia dah cover 4 lorong, 4 rows, 4 rows. And then apa beza yang ni? Ini lagi canggih. Because ada company ini yang kita panggil uniform application. Mengantuk ya? Nanti saya tanya. So kalau yang tu uniform, maka kita ingat tak first week saya bincang pasal precision farming? Ingat tak? Ada 3 R kan? What is those 3 R for precision farming? Apa yang 3 R tu? Third slide. Nanti saya tanya, what's your name? What's your name? Nama siapa? Angget. Okay, apa 3 R tu? You masuk tak kelas? Okay, mesti ingat. Tak masuk? Ini grup mana ni? B. Oh my God. Oh tak mengaku dah. Tukar grup. Okay, what is your answer? Tahu ke tak tahu? You want to pass to somebody else?
Overpower.
Okay, siapa mau bantu? Okay.
Right time mungkin.
Hah?
Right time.
Okay.
Right place.
Okay.
Raikmon.
Right amount. Itu betul. So ni group mana? Okay, ambil balik. It's okay. He perform well. So when you talk about this application, dia tak guna precision farming. Maknanya once dia dah engage PTO, mesin tu akan tabur baja pada rate yang sama. Okay. Tapi company kata tak boleh sebab ada pokok yang sudah sihat, yang sudah cukup makan. Fertilizernya ada pokok yang need extra. Okay. So what happened? They invented this machine. Ini pun spreader tapi variable rate technology. This spreader dia ada sensor. Okay, dia boleh detect. Bila dia lalu, dia boleh detect. The sensor will tell, okay, this pokok need more fertilizer, so they will give more. They move again, or this fertilizer is already gemuk, kan? Don't need more fertilizer, so they will skip that one. So you see the price of this machine 5 kali ganda the price of this machine. This machine made in Malaysia, this machine made in Italy. Tapi kenapa the perusahaan invest? Because they save in terms of fertilizer. They save in terms of fertilizer. Because they go for right amount, right time, right place. So what I discussed today, you try to relate. Let's say one day you work in sugarcane, coffee or something. This principle you boleh apply. Okay. Okay, harvesting, as I said, nanti 10:50 saya berhenti. We go for Q&A. So by 11 we have to stop because ada Jumaat, Friday Jumaat. Okay. Harvesting and infill transportation dalam oil palm, this is most critical because these two operation dia is about 60% of the total work dan is about 15% of the production cost. Maknanya dua field operation ini is critical. They need more research, penelitian, how to improve that. Okay. So we go further. So in terms of harvesting, any mechanized system, dia akan ada masalah dari segi terrain, permukaan. Kalau permukaan tu bagus, tidak ada masalah. Tapi oil palm, some of it ditanam di kawasan hilly, berbukit. Ada yang ditanam di kawasan peat, gambut, tanah gambut. So they need different machine. Okay. So another point, poor soil condition, coastal area. Ada juga oil palm yang ditanam di kawasan pantai, next to the coastal area. What happen? Tanahnya lebih masin. Masin is what? Alkaline. Lebih beralkali. Okay. Now dalam penuaian oil palm, this is the critical part sebelum kita tuai. Yang pertama, bila let's say this is oil palm. So saya datang tengok, ini sudah masak, sudah boleh dituai. So in your language you panggil tuai, petik, pangen, panen. Okay, I use that term. So let's say this crop is panen, masak. So tapi you tak boleh terus potong, because challenge-nya buah dia berada di tengah-tengah daun. If you have seen, buah kelapa sawit dia berada di tengah-tengah pelepah daun. Dia panggil daun. So what you have to do, you have to cut pelepah ataupun daun tu dulu. You have to harvest that one first, baru you boleh harvest the fruit. Okay, so itu ceritanya. You kena potong daun dulu, lepas tu baru you harvest. Bila dah harvest, kita panggil cut. Bila dah potong, buah jatuh. Buah yang jatuh tadi will be pick up by grabber. Okay, tapi as I told you, bila buah tu jatuh, because of the impact, some fruitlet akan disperse. Okay, so another worker datang sapu, collect buah yang loose tadi masuk dalam trailer. Okay, lepas tu dia akan transport buah itu to the collection point. Daripada collection point dia akan hantar ke kilang, ke mill, processing mill. Okay, what is the issues with harvesting? There are many issues you can read through. I have shared the slide, but summary-nya, ceritanya macam ni. Bila nak harvest, as I said earlier, kita kena kenal pasti adakah buah itu sudah masak atau belum. That is the first thing. So you imagine ya, pokok sawit ni tinggi, boleh sampai 10 meter. Sometimes kita tengok, we cannot see. How to determine? So yang ini, I see many studies. Even Pak Dimas pun ada buat image processing. So we can use camera, kita boleh detect what is the percentage of maturity. So UPM pun ada research yang sama. So kita tengok daripada jauh, kita guna kamera, we can tell, oh this is ready, oh this is not yet ready. Maybe we have to wait for 2 more days. Okay. Kemudian the conventional way is how to know ialah bila sudah ada buah yang jatuh, fruitlet yang jatuh ke ladang, ke kebun itu. Kalau dah ada yang gugur, maknanya it is ready. Okay. Lepas tu masalah, okay, dia boleh kita harvest twice a month. Twice a month. So maknanya kelapa sawit ini kalau you tanam dalam small scale, you tak untung. You cannot harvest every day. Because dia ada tempoh dia. Kemudian harvesting memerlukan ramai orang, dan bila kita harvest, kita tak boleh, bila kita harvest, it has to be processed within 24 hours. Kalau tidak, dia sudah jadi rosak. Have you heard FFA? Pernah dengar? FFA? Pernah? What is FFA? Tak pernah dengar? Betul ke? Saya cek dengan Pak Ubat ni. Anybody have heard FFA? What is FFA? What is free fatty acid? Masak lemak? Asam lemak. Is it boleh dimakan atau tidak? Asam lemak itu edible or not? Bisa dimakan atau racun? Pernah cuba? Pernah taste? Okay. So free fatty acid is a poison. It's non-edible. You cannot take. That's why kelapa sawit, after 24 hours of harvest, kalau belum diproses, prosesnya macam mana? Dia masak, dia boiler, dia panggil sterilize, kan? Dia punya FFA itu bila dah lebih 5%, dia sudah tidak selamat untuk dimakan. So you have to preserve. Dia punya kecederaan. FFA itu berlaku apabila pokok tu injured, ataupun dia dah harvest, dia start develop FFA. Okay, so that is free fatty acid, is an indicator they are safe to consume or not. Okay, ini gambar menunjukkan buah sawit ya. Satu bunch itu 20, average dia range dia 20 ke 50 kilogram. So if you want to be muscular, sado, bodybuilder, you better work there. After 1 month, you come out, dah jadi rainbow, muscular. Ladies also can, jadi apa? Sado. Okay, and then this photo shows loose fruit, buah yang detached. You tengok ni pada buah ni, dia nampak ni, dia ada individual fruit, individual fruitlet. Okay, due to the impact, Bila dia jatuh, fruitlet ni dia akan detach. Detach tu bahasanya apa? Terlerai, terputus, terhempas. What happen, dia tertanggal. Betul ke istilah saya? Tertanggal daripada bunch itu. So dia akan jadi individual fruitlet. So yang ni boleh diambil guna grabber, yang ni kena manual so far. Tapi nanti saya tunjuk apa mekanisasi untuk dia. Okay, you see? Tengok manual. Dia pick up satu-satu. So if you have nothing to do, one day you boleh pergi oil palm, minta kerja tu. I want to pick up this fruit. You see, this is manual loose fruit collection. So this also need machine. So di Malaysia sudah ada mesin yang sesuai untuk operasi ini. Okay. So this is a challenge for design. I know you have learned design, right? Machine design. You all dah belajar. Saya dalam kelas saya tanya free body diagram, you all tahu, then okay lah tu. Strain, stress and etc. So when we are talking about mechanization for plantation, and among the key thing is we need to go for low ground pressure. What does it mean? Grup mana saya belum tanya? B sudah. U. Siapa wakil grup U? You grup mana? You? Ini semua B ya? Grup U? Ada grup U di sini? U. Hujung. You grup U. Okay. What does it mean, low ground pressure? Ahmad Maun? What's your name? Ini semalam saya ditipu ya. What's your name? You group U, group U. Okay, what's your name? IB. Okay. How to have this low ground pressure vehicles? Tak ada dalam nota. Semua orang kena fikir. Nanti saya pilih berdasarkan warna baju. Ada yang baju biru ke? What is it? What does it mean? We need to have a machine with low ground pressure. What does it mean? Any members daripada U bantu? Apa jawapannya? Sila.
The higher contact area of the wheel.
Okay. So that is the right answer. Meaning if you want to have low ground pressure, we need to increase contact area of the machine, of the configuration. We call it undercarriage system ataupun dia punya tiring system. That is good. Because dekat ladang tanahnya lembut. The soil is soft and easy for tractor to sinkage, terbenam. Okay, good. Manual workability maknanya kita tak boleh go for fully automation dekat ladang. Kerana pokok tu dia berbeza-beza, berbeza-beza. If you automate, errornya akan tinggi. That's why dalam oil palm we just go for mechanization. We don't go for automation. Because pokoknya lain-lain. Ada yang tinggi, ada yang rendah, ada yang berpenyakit. So if you use uniform, the error will be high. So, and then next, flexible technique of harvesting, maneuverability, maknanya keboleh gerakan. I mean, the machine is able to move from one place to another place. Why? Because oil palm dia mempunyai terrain, surface, permukaan yang berlainan. ada yang hilly, ada yang berparit, I mean different, right? So the machine yang you buat tu mesti able to be operated in those different condition. Kalau tak, no point. No point to have it. Okay, high time motion, this is issue because we talk about performance. What is the underpinning for an underperformance? Apa unit pendasar dia? Ialah masa. When you talk about performance, it's about time. How fast you can do. So if you have a machine, but dia punya kerja lebih perlahan berbanding manusia, forget it. It's not going to work. Your machine must be faster than manual performance. And then safety. Ini yang saya dengan Pak Ubaid tengah fikir ni. Safety and health, our research area, how we care about workers, vibration, noise, fatigue, repetitive energy, those things can be measured so that we can have comfortable working environment for our workers. Okay, pernah tengok ini susun atur ataupun layout of oil pump. Dia ada jarak dia, crop density dia 1 hektar 140 pokok. Dia tak banyak. 1 hektar pokoknya cuma 140 average. It can be 136 sehingga 145 bergantung kepada variety, but the typical 40 pokok. Kerana jarak antara pokok dengan pokok 9.2 meter. Why? Because canopy. Kan dia punya tahun lebar, canopy. Itu oil pump. So kena ada ini pokok, kena ada laluan masuk, laluan keluar, kena ada parit drain, laluan air ya, drain, and then this is how oil pump is operated. Okay, dia follow that okay. Harvesting, this is machine, this is tools, this is machine. Why? Because it has power unit. Okay, machine sekarang ni apa yang mereka buat, dia motorized. Kita ada sickle, kita ada pahat. Ini untuk sabit, sickle. Ini untuk file, file ni untuk pahat. Dia macam tu. Dia tikam. Ini pokok, dia tikam. Dia panggil apa? Kita panggil pahat. Kalau di sana dia panggil pahat. Di sini sama ya. Dia ada PTO, dia grid, dia daripada bawah. Tapi yang ini dia panggil sickle. Sickle mean dia potong. Okay, ini motorized. So maknanya labor tak perlu gerakkan dia punya shoulder, dia just letak, tekan button, it will be motorized. Okay, tapi berat ni, berat 3 kilo. Kalau dia dah tinggi, you dah mula unstable. Okay, ini pula a kind of machine yang dibuat kajian. You tengok, tapi this is research ya. You tengok this MPOB dengan UPM, kita pasang sensor. As I said to you, kalau pokok tu sudah tinggi, kita berdiri di bawah, kita tak boleh nak determine, nak judge masak ke tak, pokok tu angin ke belum. So what we tried, we put sensor pada mata ni. Bila mata pemotong masuk dekat, they give us, okay, it's ready to be harvested. So dia potong. Ini ada hydraulics, this is hydraulics. Okay, ini mesin yang dibangunkan oleh MPOB pun untuk gantikan manpower. They have crawler, they have they call it, kita panggil arm. Dia ada arm. Arm ni diguna hydraulics, boleh naik atas. It's like a crane. Dia boleh naik atas, potong. Tapi sekarang this machine tidak digunakan. Kenapa? Can you guess why? Apa masalah dengan mesin ni? Lama. Masanya lama. Dia tak fleksibel. Kerana kalau manual, dia just bawa galah tu, dia cepat. potong dan dia berjalan. This machine dia kena move, tunggu, dan dia kena tunggu all that. Dia punya crane semua tu keluar. It takes longer time. So in terms of field capacity, lower than manual. So now they are improving. They are improving this machine to be faster. Okay, next. Okay, ini pun sama. The same machine tadi. You see, dia punya cutter, mata pemotong ni boleh naik sehingga dalam 10 meter. Dia ada boom. Dia punya boom tu boleh, dia macam teleskopik. Dia boleh naik. Tapi perlahan ya. Okay, ini pun sama. This is for shorter. For shorter tree, dia ada cutter, ada hydraulic. Dia akan potong terus masuk dalam trailer. This is hydraulics. So maybe you think this is something new. Maybe you kata this is for oil palm. We don't have oil palm in your place. But you have to adopt the same theory for any other crop yang ada di where you are going to work in. Kan? Let's say you want to work in paddy. So think about this concept. How are you going to apply in your selected crop? Okay, you see, many attempt has been done untuk nak harvest buah yang tinggi. You know, pokok sawit boleh tinggi sehingga 20 meter. 20 meter. So sampailah galah tu dah tak boleh capai. So what happen? After 25 years, dia akan replanting, tebang, tanam baru. Why? Because it is too tall, terlalu tinggi. Galah tak boleh capai dah. And then because of too tall, too high, kita tak boleh tahu dia sudah panen ke belum. So we replanting. We fell down, ganti baru. Okay. Okay, I think we have to. Okay, this is loose fruit. Saya sudah cerita tadi. This is most important thing because loose fruit kandungan oilnya tinggi. Ya, kandungan minyak dalam loose fruit ni tinggi. Berbanding, itu bukan azan kan? Mengaji ya? Okay. Okay. So you can read through. Maknanya loose fruit is compulsory. We have to collect. Ya, kita tak boleh biarkan dalam ladang. Kemudian another issue, because loose fruit ni jatuh ke tanah, dia akan bercampur dengan debris, dengan sampah sarap, daun-daun kering. So bila kita sapu, sometimes sampah sarap pun termasuk. So kena buat sorting, kena asingkan, separation. Okay, now because of that, ada keperluan. So di Malaysia mereka bangunkan vacuum system. You see? Vacuum system bukan sahaja untuk rumah. Not just for carpet. Vacuum system juga diguna untuk sedut loose fruit di lapangan. See? The technology daripada simple one sampailah kepada motorized. Dan ada juga attempt untuk buat robot. Ini projek pelajar lah. Ini projek pelajar. How they automate the robot. Okay, mini robot. Then a few more machine has been developed untuk nak sedut, to vacuum, to suck buah-buah yang lerai di sekeliling pokok. And then you tengok this machine is better because dia dah ada separator. Whatever has been vacuum, dia akan asingkan daripada sampah sarap. Oh, ini tanda dia kena berhenti ni. Mesin pun dah bagi amaran ya. Okay. Okay, this is more advanced. Vacuum, dia ada cyclone. Cyclone system, dia akan asingkan loose fruit dengan foreign material, impurities, sampah sarap. Okay. Pun sama, means research ni, I tell you, dia akan bermula dengan satu konsep yang basic. Okay? Tapi bila more research is done, it will be improving. From time to time, kita akan tambah baik. So, now it's about infield transportation untuk nak buah yang telah dituai untuk kita hantar ke kilang. So, mostly it's about grabber, all about, we call it grabber and trailer. So, kalau dalam kelas kita bincang, this is PTO, this is what? Ini yang guna PTO, kan traktor dia produce satu PTO, satu lagi apa? Semalam baru bincang. Grup apa semalam? B. Satu PTO, satu lagi Excel. Excel untuk provide power to what? P. What is P? P. What is P? P, H minus R. Oh, semua pening. Mana ni? Drop up, pull. Pull, right? So this is P. This is P. This is where axle tayar, betul. Tapi axle power itu digunakan untuk menarik trailer. Betul? Betul tak? Agree? Ya ke? Okay. So more machine is developed for infield. You tengok dia punya variation dia mostly on tire. Okay? Because yang kita nak tadi low ground pressure. See the tire is different. The same. You see now dia dah tukar kepada crawler ataupun rubber track. So that it has better traction capacity. Okay? Ini pun sama, ini untuk lifting. Untuk lifting, for collection. You see, dia ada 6 tayar. So Pak Ubaid, just to share with you, all group, saya suruh dia kira contact area. I was surprised, bila saya lukis traktor, dia cuma kira untuk 2 tayar. Sebelah kiri. Saya pun terfikir, oh di Indonesia traktornya 2 tayar ya. Right? So basically if you see this, you nampak 3, by right it has 6 tires. Because kiri kanan mesti ada tayar. So what? All group, bukan group semalam sahaja. Semua group kira 2 tayar. Seolah-olah di sebelah sana tu tidak ada tayar. Okay? Okay. Now this is miniature motorbike yang kecil, easy to handle. Then this is the most simple design. Ada trailer. Trailer ditarik oleh motosikal ya. Okay, more machine for transport. You see this? Transformer. Transformer. For gambut, for pit soil. Okay, yang ini lagi canggih. You see? Macam tank. Is armor vehicle, macam military punya. Tapi bagusnya, tayar dia boleh 360 degree turning. Kalau kenderaan biasa, tayar depan saja pusing. Yang ni, both front tire and rear tire boleh pusing. Because oil pump kan dia ada limited space. It has a limited space for turning. Okay? This is another example how the tire play important roles to have low ground pressure. Tadi Okay. So I think we have to finish because Pak Dimas is here already. That is the main indicator. Timekeeper. Okay, this is some research of UPM. This is my own research. You can see, I have shared the slide. So many more, we can skip this one. Okay, so I have explained all this. Now comes to the end. This is where we are going. If you are truly engineers, this is the future of us. autonomous, exoskeleton, IoT, and etc. Okay, so you can have a thought about that. So now comes to group assessment. Again, oh, I don't like it, right? So, based on the lecture this morning, 2 hours, so you have to identify 5 machine or implement. There are more than that. There are hundreds of machines I mentioned. So you have to choose 5 of them and then suggest improvement can be made to improve. Either means you only choose one. You want to talk about its performance, you want to talk about its safety, or you want to talk about its cost. So you have 150 students. So one group, 5 students. So I will receive 30 question or answers book. You email to me, okay? All right. So conclusion, I don't want to read the conclusion. Now, Q&A. Anyone to ask anything before we finish?
Okay, hi there.
Thank you for the time and the lecture. So I want to ask some question that maybe don't relate fully relate to this study, but this some real case in a certain region of the Malang Regency. So in the certain region of the Malang Regency, we have about 200 to 300 hectare of oil palm plantation that spread from the hilly area to the coastal area. So the problem is there is productivity problem which caused by the planting pattern and some of spread of the plantation, which consists of one plantation is made from some small cluster to the larger cluster, which one cluster, the small cluster is consists of about 100 to 200 plant, which there is another problem. The area of the certain region of the Malang Selatan is some typically dry along the year. So what is the solution with mechanization and technologies approach that can fit well with that condition? So thank you. Maybe one last question about the productivity. We don't have one complete ecosystem of plantation and the manufacturing. So there is some of my question, and thank you for that.
So thanks for the question. If I got your question correct, there is a differences between planting system in hilly area and coastal area. So in hilly area, you have dense crop, 200 trees per hectare. And then in coastal area, the issue is water. Betul eh? Okay, the third question is about that you don't have ecosystem, mechanization ecosystem. Okay. If you talk about crop density, you go to hilly area, then basically agronomists have suggested the crop density for oil palm must follow the punya canopy size. Because I have the slide here, connection ya. Dia oil palm ni dia unique because okay, this is a secret I'm going to tell you. Too many slides, Pak Dimas. So to undo it takes time. Okay, never mind. But this is good point, good question. Let me share. Okay, here. You see, oil palm is very unique crop where if you want to know the root zone of oil palm, you have to look at leaf area. Because the root zone is as big as canopy. So that means if you plant oil palm too close, they will be overlapping and there will be a competition to do it between crop to get nutrient and also sunlight, because oil palm requires sunlight. That's why oil palm cannot be grown in Europe. Okay, so ideally it depends on variety. Okay, kalau di Malaysia varietinya Tenera. So for Tenera, the recommended spacing, or we call it crop density, is 136 to 140 trees per hectare. If you plant 200 trees per hectare, it will be crowded. So you have a bad problem with nutrient competition. Number two, you have a problem with machinery access. Because you know, kalau di ladang, this is the tree, machinery tidak dibenarkan untuk lalu di bawah kanopi, because if you injure the root, pokok akan merajuk. Pokok akan merajuk. Yieldnya berkurang. So I was told by one manager, they really care about that. If you bring in machine, do not injure the root zone. So kalau pokoknya padat, of course you will hit that root zone. Okay, so my idea is, if you want to grow, maybe for now it's too late. Dah tanam kan, you wait for when it comes to replanting. When it comes to replanting, you have to fell it down, then go for standard spacing, where we have a space for machine, for we call it maintenance rows. We have also enough space for drainage. Okay, back to your question for coastal area or irrigation. Yes, oil palm at the beginning, they require water. Even we have studied in Malaysia and in Thailand as well, the irrigated oil palm produce more yield. So lucky in Malaysia and Indonesia we have enough rainfall. But now climate change. So what plantation do? They have to irrigate, because you know, untuk produce buah tu, pokok memerlukan air. I have the figure. They need about 4 liter or 40 liters of water per day. I have that figure, but I don't really sure. But if you want, I can share. So yes, in dry area, it may not be suitable for oil palm. But if you want to grow oil palm, you have to come up with irrigation system. Okay. The last question is machinery ecosystem is about supply and demand. Okay. Yang mana datang dulu? Telur ke ayam? So machinery system, dia comes when the demand is there. Okay. Meaning that bila kita ada plantation, right? Plantation come first or machinery supply come first? Macam mana? What do you think? To me, of course, plantation kena ada dulu, right? Bila ada demand, there is opportunity for traders. They say, oh, ini tempat mau spreader. Then there is no local spreader. Okay, let us be a dealer for that. So the idea is you have to lobby. As agriculture engineers, you have society, ISABE. So when there is a need, you have a demand, I believe many business mindset people, opportunities will come in. And then to start that, we can come with apa kita panggil local design, local manufacturing. But you know, most of the machine for oil palm is readily available on the shelf. Maybe you cannot find the right dealers. But if the demand is there, they know the demand, they will come. Okay? Maybe you talk to local government, please bring in this company, because the demand is there. They are love to do that because that is their business. Or you will be the dealer. You are engineers, right? Set up a company. You will be more richer than me, than Pak Dimas. Jadi pengusaha, businessman. Okay, right? Am I answering your question? Okay, thank you. Do we have time to take another question? We have to stop. Any
I
more
think
question?
is enough. Any more questions, student? Okay, I think it's enough because the time is past 11. Thank you very much, Doctor, from very insightful lectures on mechanization of plantation crops, especially for oil palm, because especially if we talk student in Java, usually are not very familiar with oil palm. In other case, if you talk in Sumatra, maybe it's more familiar with oil palm. Okay, the next session is awarding ceremony and appreciation ceremony and photo session. Please, for the head committee of this program, please Pak Dimas to give the appreciation for Dr. Nazmi, and after that we will have a photo session ceremony. For the student, keep in your seat. Thank you very much, Pak Dimas and Dr. Nazmi. Thank you for coming for all students for this course, for a special guest lecture by Dr. Nazmi Matnawi. Thank you everyone. Thank you for the committee. Akhiran, assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.